Greetings, nerds, from Podcast Land, and welcome to the Reroll Podcast, the podcast by gamers for gamers, brought to you in part by Cultural Appropriation. I'm your illustrious host, Victor Lindu Slogan II, a.k.a. Kill Moves, a.k.a. Papa Black, a.k.a. Being a Victor, a.k.a. that Negro over there. What is up, everybody? I'm here with my friends, Michael.
Michael, me what name?
Fluba, a.k.a. Jeff.
Howdy.
All right, and Miles McDareth Clark.
Cultural appropriation. What are you saying? I couldn't let it. No.
That's our sponsor.
I couldn't let. No. What the? I couldn't let.
I appreciate you're able to hold back for that long.
I was like, okay, how deep are we gonna dig this hole before I have to say something?
Keeping it?
I mean, it's there now. I can't do anything about it.
Let's keep going.
And we're off the air, and we're back.
All right, I mean, like, games have happened. It's been a while. So before we talk about news, we'd like to talk about things that have happened and things we've been playing. So I guess let's go to Michael first. What have you been up to in the past year or whatever it's been?
It's not been a year.
How long has it
hasn't
been?
been a year.
It's been a couple months.
Keep going. I'll find the date.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, let's see here. I mean, obviously, I played a lot of stuff. A little bit of classic WoW. It's all right. It's old.
Yeah.
I recently got together with a lot of family to play VR. That's a lot of fun when you have actual space.
Mm-hmm.
But real recently, I've actually been playing Blackout Club.
What's
because
Blackout Club?
Blackout Club it's supposed to be co-op, but it's not necessarily. But it's sort of like a horror thriller type of game, where you basically play like a kid. Some mysterious eldritch force has descended upon your town of Redacre, and you have to figure out what it is and try to save yourself and your friends. The thing that I really like about it is that there's like because there's like sort of like a roguelike elements to the game. Not necessarily that you can die, but that you can sacrifice your progress and your experience, but you sacrifice them to different gods or deities, and the gods are actually played by the game devs, and they'll show up sometimes like in people's games and talk with people and influence their games. And
Oh, sure.
oh yeah, and if you sacrifice regularly to one, you'll be a follower of them, but sometimes a follower of another god will start targeting you, because you can also play as a stalker, which is basically you can play as the bad guy in someone else's game, hunting down enemy players.
And this is on Steam?
This is on Steam, yeah.
How much is it?
$20,
Okay.
20 something.
$29.99.
30 with a 20% discount.
All right.
It's base 30.
Is that the same game you wanted us to play? You showed me that.
Yeah, I was recommending it to you guys, and I figured, I might as well play it to see if it's even good, because I was interested in it. So,
gotcha. What about Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
Like, have you been playing that?
I have. I'm not off the first planet yet, although I'm pretty much primed to. But I'm the kind of person that when it's like, "Are you ready to leave?" I'm like, "Yeah." After I, kill everything again. 3 more times just to make sure I did every side quest available.
Yeah, of course. Man, that game's great. I think I'm like 3 or 4 hours into it. I really enjoy it. I think the gameplay is a little bit much to be desired. It's kind of like repetitive, I think.
Yeah.
But like the overall idea of the game is fun.
Although I think that's kind of what a lot of people are looking for. Not too many people, I think, are looking for like. It's not claiming to be a big new innovation on it. It's just more of the same, which is all right.
Mm-hmm. I just wish I was building towards something. I feel like you're just kind of leveling up and like you're not really building towards anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no real big fantasy that you're building towards.
Yeah, it feels a little aimless when you're leveling. That's my issue. I'm not building towards a specific perk. I'm not building towards being able to build something. It's just numbers go up, and that's not always the most fun thing.
Yeah, I'm playing a melee build, and I'm really only like building to be like, all right, so instead of 3 hits to kill this guy, I'm building to 2 hit this guy.
Yeah, so, but yeah, man. Jeff, what have you been playing?
Well, like everyone else, I was also playing The Outer Worlds, and I beat it. I managed to make it through completion to the end, and I can say it is quite enjoyable. But yeah, it's a bit short, and a lot of the mechanics are still fairly familiar to any of the other your standard Bethesda RPG of sorts. Your Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4s, your Skyrims and Oblivions, but it is on a much nicer engine. I believe it's Unreal Engine, which is also probably why it got the Epic exclusivity. But hey, Game Pass is great, and it's one of the best times to actually play it as a result, because you can pretty much just spend a couple of bucks and just play through the whole game. It's actually a pretty good deal that they got going on. And it's money that doesn't go directly into Epic's pocket. So hey, it's a win-win there for if you're one of those supporters. Also recently went through Borderlands 3 and did a little bit of a quick solo run, and if you are a fan of the first 2 Borderlands games, I can highly recommend it. It's more of the fun looter shooter that you enjoy. Doesn't really employ a lot of the weird gimmicks that things like Pre-Sequel did, but instead you kind of just get a bit more travel. There's a bit more scale to it. The story it's effectively just more Borderlands story, so whether you like it or not is up to you, but the fun looter shooter moments are still there. So regardless of what you think of that, it's still a decent, enjoyable game to play, and probably better with friends. Probably. They added more cooperative elements, so you actually can get loot and not have to compete with each other, but they still let you do it as an option.
It's a solid game. I just think that, like you said before, it wasn't that innovative.
Yeah, again, if you just wanted to play more Borderlands in a slightly different setting with a couple of new guns, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Like, it's been what, 7 years since the last one?
No, it was less than that because of Pre-Sequel.
I don't count that. I guess I should.
But yeah, it would be more like roughly like 7-ish or so. Yeah. One thing I did quite like, and my favorite manufacturer recently was TDR, solely because some of their special guns turn into turrets when you reload with them, and you just chuck them, and they become a sentient gun with legs and just shoot at things.
Oh, I'd be loving it.
That was one of my favorite gun mechanics. It's quite fun and silly and enjoyable. Though I did find a butcher toward the later game, which is just it just slaughtered everything. It is just a death shotgun.
Yeah, I actually hated TDR in the second game, but I love him in this game though. Definitely.
But yeah, those are my 2 recent. Like I literally finished Borderlands 3 like 2 days ago, probably something like that. 1 day, 2 days ago, and the Outer Worlds like I literally finished Outer Worlds and I'm like, what should I move on to next? Borderlands 3. Yeah, so I should go into that, and then just went right through.
Yeah, man. What about you, Mouse?
Kind of more the same, honestly. Like, lots of Smash Dragalia has been taking a lot of time because they put in Master High Dragons. So the High Dragon fights, put them all in. Then for Anniversary, just to regress the game, they put in the harder versions of all the fights, but they're time limited, and it's a lot of farming to keep up, and you have to keep up because they go away, and it's looping around. So I've been keeping up mostly with the help of a friend who's been helping me on some of them where I didn't have a team to do them with.
Okay.
Then Grand Blue, but also it's been kind of nice because at Stockton there's actually a Smash Bros group, which I knew about.
Tournaments?
Yeah, on Fridays they do them.
Oh, okay.
Which I won one of the Friday tournaments.
You won?
Yeah.
How many people were in that tournament? Was it 2?
No. There's 20 something.
Oh, that's dope. That's cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean,
like that. It's a win.
No, it's just me. I
understand.
To how I should have done better in this way or whatever.
I mean, that's also a positive thing. Look, you want to get better. So
yeah, I know
more improvements.
That's the way I treat it. That's why I enjoy it, because I can go and just play and just learn more, try to figure out stuff, see where I need to improve on.
Yeah, I guess while we're on Smash, what do you think about Terry?
Oh, he's fun.
Yeah, he's such a good I like him way more than the Street Fighter characters. Like he's awesome.
Because that's the way I felt. Because when Smash Ultimate came out, I was like, I tried Ken and Ryu. I think it did Ken and like classic mode. I was like, wow, doing aerial cancels are kind of fun. Then playing them was like they feel really weird. But then playing Terry is like, wow, this character is just a lot of fun.
Like, he's so different though. He's so different.
Stuff links in ways where it feels like it should. Like he feels like Ken and Ryu feel like Smash characters imitating fighting game characters. Terry just feels like a fighting game character.
Yeah, I can agree. I see that.
What do you think about the additional songs that they added with the update, which is a whopping 50?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, what the hell?
That was crazy. Like, there's 50 songs added from SNK's library.
Square's like, you get 2. You can have 2. SNK's
still,
like, take the lot. Fuck
still
it here.
Don't understand how Cloud has 2 songs. And technically, Dragon Quest has 2. It's just 2 for every single one of the heroes. Like each game has 2.
Man,
I don't understand. So now we know it's not like Sakurai didn't try. I feel like that's a big thing with that.
Yeah, Square's real stingy with their music. Dragon Quest has always had an issue with the music stuff.
It's still like in general. It's like Square gives the rights to the music to the composer, which is good. But then Square doesn't want to pay those composers to use their music, so they just don't. So they was like, yeah, you get those 2.
You know what, the Dragon Quest ones, they gave out like 10, even though they weren't necessarily the best ones.
Yeah, but think of it this way, right? I think it's 8. If I remember correctly, but it's the thing is, it's still like Cloud. It's 2 per game.
Yeah,
it's just there's 4 Dragon Quest heroes.
So no, you're right. It's frustrating.
Yeah, because Cloud has there's so much good songs. Like if they just want think about Final Fantasy and not limit it to 7, like they did with Banjo's not limited to just Banjo-Kazooie. Dragon Quest is technically not limited, but it's all the games that are in there. And other series aren't limited. They like took a lot of like Persona, for instance. There's music from Persona 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So like imagine if they could go with Final Fantasy and pick songs from any Final Fantasy game. Like that'd be crazy, but no. Also, we haven't done one since then, but I think how crazy it is that like whenever I modded like Smash with like add in music in Smash 4 for PM, I would always put in like Bloody Tears from Castlevania and I'll Face Myself from Persona, and both those are just in the game. Like those are both just in Smash.
Yeah, I mean those are some of the greatest musical compositions ever, like for video games.
And then on top of that, Megalovania is just in Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
like, crazy.
Megalovania is in WWE, and that still makes me feel weird.
Well, yeah, I saw that because like Kenny Omega is just a big gamer. Like he has a gaming channel. He was even at Evo. Like I'm pretty sure he brought up Ono at Evo. So he's a big video game player.
Cool.
But yeah, that's mostly it for me. Just stuff. Oh, so I went to TwitchCon for the first time. That was fun.
Yeah, how was that? I meaning to ask you.
It was nice because it was very. I mean, okay, so I'll say it this way. Like, I tell you, SmashCon's not really a convention. TwitchCon is, but at the same time, it isn't. Because, like, if you're going there to, like, I'm going to go experience all this stuff, it's not much. You kind of walk around. There's a bunch of booths who kind of want to sell you stuff. Yeah, but if you're going there with the idea of becoming, like, or, like, networking, I think it's really good. That's what I tried doing. Not very good at it. But, like, I tried going to booths and talking to them and, like, introducing myself, getting a contact, and, like, trying to do that stuff. Because, like, I've always been going at this stuff just like, just play games, it's fun. So I'm trying to see like, what's the path actually going from like a content creator to like an influencer, as people would call them.
I hate that designation, influencer.
Yeah, man, that's what
it feels insidious. What do you do? I make videos on the internet. Oh, you're a content creator. No, I'm an influencer.
I think they switched it to that because then it's like people on Twitter and like Instagram and stuff, it's kind of different. So they just use that.
I suppose it's like people who are more interested in the discussion of it rather than them actually, like making something of their own.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Because I was gonna say I kind of done stuff like that. Not okay. So like I'm gonna say it's me again because like I'm hard on myself. But like anytime I've done something where, let's say for Team Sonic Racing, I reached out to and like got the game early, so I did early streams and made videos for it. I didn't go out and talk to them, right? Someone emailed me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to learn, how do I do it from my end when it's a brand I'm interested in? How do I like start the conversation?
You got to email people.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, man, it's a business. You got a network. But you can do it.
Yeah, trying to get better at that.
Remember the standard formatting for emails, which is begin with introducing who you are and then just say what you want.
And that's the problem, right?
That's all you
when
need
I have
to
to
do.
explain myself, that's when it's hard.
You must face yourself.
Yeah, just be honest with yourself. Just say who you are, what kind of stuff you do, and then ask how they can help you. That's just the most basics.
Yeah, that was the big
It's
thing.
not necessarily the easiest way because that's just it's always an easier said than done. Because there's a lot of ways you can introduce yourself and a lot of ways to ask what you want.
I mean, they also know it's a business thing, just like conversation too. But like they know there's expectations.
You gotta keep in mind that you're not the only person doing this kind of stuff, and they deal with and probably help out other people like yourself quite easily. Especially if it's they're a company known for doing it. It helps to have that kind of reputation.
And I get that, but it's just like I just overthink stuff.
No, of course, yeah, it's still tough, especially in the beginning stages. But all right, let's move on. I want to talk about what I've been playing. Fuck you guys. I've been playing Destiny 2 with that how it's moved over to Steam.
Free to play and all that.
Yeah, I already owned the game, so it came with that. But it's kind of cool. Like when they take the Activision out of it, you kind of see, you can just see like the better stuff. Like before, shaders cost money pretty much. Now you can they're still consumables, but they're kind of easy to get. So you can see them fixing the old trappings of the free-to-play, of the bad corporate practices they had. So I'm playing that. It's kind of fun. I got the Battle Pass. I've been playing Darkest Dungeon, which is really fucking hard, but it's a lot of fun. What else am I playing? And then Apex Legends here and there. But that's about it. I think we should get into news, really, to move this show along. Hey, Michael, how about you talk about the first news thing? You've been kind of quiet.
Something big happened. Ready for that? There was a thing. The guys who the guys who they don't like Hong Kong. Yeah, they had a big panel.
That small studio with like 20 people.
Oh yeah, that small indie studio. What are they called again? Rainstorm? I don't fucking know.
Bethesda.
Okay. Yeah, hello, this is gonna go on. You all don't play all these games. I'm sitting here like, okay.
I'm waiting for Michael.
All right. Well, BlizzCon happened, and they announced 2 new games, and they tried to apologize for the Blitzchung thing. And some people were like, "Yeah, they apologized," and other people were like, "Did they though?"
It was a very not sorry kind
of
situation, but.
For
I
me,
they apologized, but like they're like, we did bad, but they didn't rescind his punishment at all, which means that they still believe that they did the right thing. They just believe that they punished too much.
It's in a weird spot because
I feel like but it's not me trying to defend them. It's just thinking about it like if you're in that position. Someone does something on a public broadcast that represents your brand, and it's a heated topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to get into specifics, obviously. I'm not trying to take it as plot. So you punish them for it. I feel like you're not wrong to punish them for it. They obviously went too far. You're not wrong to punish them.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you take away the punishment and still keep the message of this isn't okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would turn it down, and rather than punishing outright, like make it like a strike. Like you're getting off this one time, just because it's.
Yeah, but I feel like if you let it be a strike, okay. So let's take it to Twitch, right? So Twitch has basically a 3-strike system. You get banned once, you're banned for like 24 hours. Next time it's like a week, then it's a month, or it could be several months, and after that you're just permaban.
Yeah.
So the thing about that is people know it's like, oh, I can just get a ban. No, I'll just get banned one time. So some people will do stuff on the borderline edge of getting banned. They get banned for it. For some reason, when people get banned and come back, their viewership, sub counts, all that goes up. It doesn't go down. So people will do stuff that's on the edge. They get banned. They come back, and they're in a better position for it. And they're not perma-banned.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so it's like the problem is once you set a strike system, I think people will abuse the fact that I have extra chances.
I agree with that.
I to be honest with you, what I'm kind of upset about myself. I I don't like the fact that Blizzard banned and has continued to ban the casters.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
They're still banned. They're still banned for 6 months.
Yeah.
They didn't make a political statement. They ducked their heads under the freaking table when the guys started talking about pro Hong Kong.
Yeah, it was. They pretty much, if I recall, the statement that they made before it was said was pretty much just because they knew it was coming. They're pretty much like, just say your 6 words. Like, effectively, they knew it was just like, just say what you wanted to say and just be done with it.
Yeah,
that was pretty much what their general attitude with it. Like, they did that, they hid themselves away because it was just we know this is going to to go bad.
Yeah, and then my thing is like Blizzard kind of instates that you have to do those post game interviews. So like, what are they supposed to do in that spot?
But yeah, there's not really much out of their own control. I mean, the original intention that Blizzard had with this was a lot of the whole, and it kind of makes sense overall, which is just, again, this is their original intention, not the repercussions of what they actually did, was we don't want to bring politics into what is effectively just a gaming tournament. You know, don't bring any other politics, don't bring any of the other stuff. That could have been done so much better as a result. Again, we reprimand. You know, you do a basic reprimand, and then you just issue a statement. We do not want to discuss politics. We just want to talk about games. This wouldn't have become such a freaking absolute garbage fire had they just kept it much more simple than that and just laid on a much lighter hand. Because did you guys ever see that kind of roughly translated Chinese statement that was made after?
Yeah, I saw that. That was
that was not a good way of dealing with that. The whole kind of keeping China's honor. Well, now, granted, from what I heard, it was also a bit of a rough translation, so it may be less overtly dramatic as we think it is.
Oh, no,
but it's still not
translation.
I thought that their Chinese
it's like the Chinese
like social media was actually controlled by NetEase themselves. And it's not even like Blizzard's.
Yeah, it's still
not,
a
but it's
thing.
Still their name. That's the danger.
I give you money to say something. I still gave you money to say something. You know what I mean? So.
Like if you hire a PR person in that country and that's what they say, that's still statements based on the company.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the way they handled it was just absolutely awful. It caused controversy. Do you know how bad it is when you do something like this and you get people like, how would I explain it? When you get other freaking politicians that normally hate the ever-living guts out of each other to both agree on this statement.
Yes.
You know how bad it is when you know people that eternally bicker and both of them go, let's set aside our differences and let's work this out. They can't agree on things that get millions of lives affected, that can make them all, go to the absolute worst. People dying in wars. No. People are being stupid about a video game. How stupid? We're agreeing.
Oh, God.
That's how bad it is.
So to focus this conversation a little bit more, so what do you guys think about that actual statement he made? Does that fix anything for you guys? Like, what do you think about that?
I feel like it was expected.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I think that's the best they could have done. I think asking a company to be like, I'm sorry for the Hong Kong issue, or some shit like that.
They can't say it because if they say it, they're gonna get in trouble.
I mean,
you're asking way too much out of a company.
It's your standard, we messed up apology.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not much more you can do. I mean, you can sort of rescind on some of the actual punishments, but it's really difficult to do that. Even outside of the whole like China money is important thing, because when you get really flip-floppy and uppy on certain things as well, what ends up happening is you end up getting the whole, you want the exception to become the rule whenever another incident like this occurs. And it's really awkward. I'm not saying this was well deserved, but I'm just saying it's really hard to deal with this after the fact.
Yeah,
this is just a really awkward, tangled mess that you have to deal with. So you're just gonna have to do it the best you can and just kind of pull yourself up through it. But on the whole, though, I will say Blizzard, just even without the whole PR thing, has just been recently on the decline.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the better staff members have been taking the exit path, and a good number of them also got fired as well through other downsizing. This is a company that makes record profits and then still downsizes.
Yeah,
that's not good. That's not a good practice. That doesn't encourage healthy game design philosophy. That just encourages predatory corporate nature trumping over actual entertainment and enjoyment of its consumer. Not a bueno.
I mean, like their last game, Overwatch was a banger. Like it did really well for them, but then Wow, that was Overwatch was kind of years ago at this point. What, 3 or 4?
I feel like it's the same thing where Overwatch comes out, it does really well, and then what? And then it kind of just like it stagnated because it's the same.
Their new IP is great, but how are they supporting it along with everything else? Oh, they're kind of just treading water.
Well,
if we're talking about them putting their like the wrong foot forward, do we want to talk about what they did with the Warcraft Arena?
Not yet.
The Arena prize pool? Not yet.
No, I still wanted to talk. I wanted to go over Overwatch and the conversation. Yeah. I was saying that I don't know. I think that the updates to Overwatch have kind of hurt it in the long run. I think there are too many characters. I don't really like the addition of so many characters. The balance is going to get way off, and it's just kind of fuck you.
Yeah, but I feel like how else do you? Okay, so for a hero shooter, how else do you make it different? Even
exactly.
Just like a MOBA, it's like you can't really change the formula of it, right? Like Dota or League of Legends don't really do that. What they do is you add patches, you redesign heroes, and you add new ones.
No, you're absolutely right. I think I just hate some of the heroes sometimes because a lot of the gameplay revolve around stopping you from playing. Sombra, and the guy throws a rock at you, you fall.
I feel like when they do that, it goes way too far.
So it's less about more heroes and more about just making heroes that are actually fun and fair.
Like CC in first-person shooters is not fun. But because you get CC'd and you're dead in a second. It's ridiculous.
I was gonna say because there's a lot of intricate skill involved with that, and if you can just shoot someone while they can't move, it just feels like you're taking a lot of the skill out of it.
Yeah, and they have characters like Moira who could just fucking run away and do shit tons of damage. So some things about the game annoy me, but what were you guys saying about the arena? You want to go over that?
I completely forgot, but yeah, they're also in a little bit of hot water because it was revealed that Blizzard they were like, hey, yeah, so we're selling these pets online, right? For the Warcraft arenas because actually not just the arena, the Warcraft arena and the Mythic Dungeon Invitational.
Yeah, that's right.
For World of Warcraft, and what they said is that minimum $500,000, which is already a little bit more than what they had last year. It would be split between the two prize pools, and then they said, and 25% of these pet sales will go towards it. All right, the pet sales were pretty good, but and so then they revealed they're like, it was. What was it like? $600,000, $700,000 was the total prize pool.
Yeah, that's where the prize pool went up to. But you gotta remember, the pets themselves made $2.4 million.
Oh damn!
Yes, but the issue that people are having with it is that that $500,000 minimum that they said, that $500,000 is not the money that they're putting forward. They are actually not putting any of their own money into the prize pool at all.
Yeah. After
the prize pool is only pet
they
sales.
took out their own money, so now it's only money the community raised.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Which people are like,
it's quite scummy.
I mean, it is. It's just really scummy. It's really not a good image for them. And they didn't announce it. They didn't tell anyone that. And if you read their wording of it, it's very much not worded that way. But it's. Their original wording was vague enough that they're able to get away with it.
Well, how does the Dota 2 one work, Miles?
Valve puts up 1.6 million, and then every money that's first off, it's way higher. Valve puts up 1.6 million, and then all the money the community raises goes on top of that. They never take it out.
Oh, so that's the difference.
Now you'd also realize the last TI ended at $34 million. I'll have to double check that while I'm saying this, and that's 25%. So Valve is walking away cleanly from this with a lot of money.
Well, Valve can also just, because of the fact that they have Steam as their client, they can effectively just print money to pump into it, which really helps them with this.
But the thing is, Blizzard definitely has enough money to do more than 500,000. They just don't have to.
Well, I would say yes, but not for a WoW Arena. I feel like that's a smaller, not small, but it's not.
But I feel like WoW Arena is as small as it is because they haven't done anything. Also
remember that that prize pool is split between the two.
Yeah.
So only half of that. Only half of that goes to each of the tournaments.
Now you have to share.
And yeah, I was right. It was $3.4 million. That's what the last TI was.
Man, that's not good. What's happening to our company? Why are they massacring our boy?
I don't know. It's like it kills me because like I used to think of the three great B's of Western RPGs: Blizzard, Bethesda, BioWare. All their games were great. They could do no wrong. All of them were fucking up, and it sucks.
I just die hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
The thing is I do wonder
BioWare is closest to dying a
hero. On Blizzard's end, whether or not this is just them internally just being destroyed, or if there's the Activision half of it kind of also pulling them down as well. I don't know if it's self-inflicted.
I feel like it's Blizzard. I feel like it's Blizzard being, hey, we should like Blizzard went from esports is own thing, we don't care about that, we make good games, to hey, let's make this forced league with $20 million buy-ins and all this stuff. So like they really want esports to be a thing. They do shit like this, and it's like, what are you doing?
Overwatch League. Man. All right. Well, more Blizzard stuff. So what about Diablo 4? Are you guys excited for that? Like that trailer looked dark, right? You guys want it to be dark, like Diablo 2?
I think it's better to go darker.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. I like the reintroduction of talent trees, that sort of thing. That looked really neat, and it seems like that they have a. It's not just like a straightforward tree either, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Wait, what are the changes? I haven't seen many changes for Diablo 4 yet.
So yeah, talent trees are back. They're bringing back rune words, but changing them so they're not as complex. It's kind of D3-ish in terms of, you know, buttons you can have active and that kind of stuff, but it's definitely more. When I looked at it, it looked like a mix of like D3 and Path of Exile, which I think is probably where I want it, because like D3 is too simple, honestly, when it comes to how you can build your character. Path of Exile is, you need a fucking spreadsheet. That game is ridiculous.
I was gonna say, because they don't have a talent tree so much as they do a talent web, and it's a massive friggin' thing.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say that I hope it goes this way. But they were talking about one of the things that they mentioned is that the barbarian is going to have 4 different weapon sets that they can swap between. I honestly hope that is like indicative of different classes are going to have their own really interesting ways of doing things. Yeah. Like and also, to be honest with you, what I want is I want those additional like weapon sets, like when you swap in between, and I want most characters to have at least 2. Going back to Diablo 2, you had 2. You press the button, you swap between your weapon sets. Because I would want those to be linked with different skills for each one, right? Like your what is it? The Guild Wars effect, where when you swap from one weapon set to another weapon set, your abilities change because you have different abilities linked to each set, and it works. It just works.
So it's kind of like that, because we're barbarians, not even a set. They just equip 4 weapons, period. It's kind of like, that's like really cool for class fantasy. Something I wouldn't think Blizzard would actually do, being honest. But like, I actually do hope they bring back, and I like that idea, because my thing with like D3 and like at least from the skill side of D4, I don't like you only have 4 skills. It's because like it is very limited. All these really cool skills and stuff, I can only have 4.
Especially because there's a lot of interesting utility abilities that are like, well, I could use this and to make my whole run a little bit more interesting, or my character could do this, but it's like, but that doesn't do enough damage, so I gotta take it out. It kind of limits your character's feel, and it's just the whole like the class thematic gets lost under, I just need to pump out more numbers.
And then I was gonna say, I also don't like this game. Okay, so this game not coming out probably for like 2 years, right? Why are they telling it? I mean, they kind of said that. There's like, it's not coming out next year and all this stuff. So
if I recall, they said something along the lines. It wasn't like it's not soon. It's not even Blizzard soon, if I recall, something along those lines. Like it's gonna be a while before we get any real major like.
Let's be honest, they're only showing it to us, so that way they don't have another Diablo Immortal fiasco like last year.
Yeah,
100%.
Last year they're like, let's not show it, and this year they're like, all right, so let's not shoot ourselves in the leg. Here's the thing, if Bethesda can get like a bunch of applause at E3 for just showing the words Elder Scrolls 6 across a nondescript,
that's literally all. It kills me. Like, all that Blizzard had to do. Did it.
That's it. That's all that we wanted. We just wanted to know that you're doing it.
Yeah,
we just want to know that you care, Blizzard. You couldn't even do that much.
Oh man. That's
like
funny.
many online developers, you can't get any freaking proof of life out of them, but my God, will you get some sort of controversy?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that like, so it's not coming out for a while. I don't like that they're already saying, "Oh, we're gonna ship with 5 characters." Like, what? This game is so far out, and you were set on 5 characters now.
Do you think there should be more?
Yes.
What do you mean?
And it also means that they're probably only
right?
going to come out with 3, and take a while for the 5th to come out.
So yeah, they already have 3. They have Barbarian, they have Sorceress, and they have Druid. Cool, bringing back 2 D2 classes, right? So you probably have to do Paladin because you need someone who uses a shield, and then people probably want Necromancer. So then, what about every single other?
No. But Miles, you're missing. We don't have the ranged class.
That's
no
that's
one
true.
Here is range.
Yeah, no one is ranged. They need a melee range or physical range character. That's true. So like,
so your choices for there are to go. Was it Demon Hunter? You could go Amazon.
I feel like
or
Demon
you
Hunter
could
is just more iconic.
Or here's the thing. Remember, there's always a decent chance that Blizzard is there's just that one guy at Blizzard who's like, I have an original idea, and for some reason they're given the authority to make their original idea reality. Yeah. So there's a decent chance that there's a black sheep in amongst these familiar names.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm just being optimistic and hopeful. I know you guys said that it's not coming out next year, but like there is a playable build, right? Doesn't that mean it might be further along than we think?
Possibly? Yeah. I just think next year we're not going to see it. Unfortunately, like I want this game. Diablo 4 is of all the games they talked about. Diablo 4 is the one that's most intriguing to me.
Yeah,
a release date, but I don't think that next year we're getting it coming out.
Okay, I can see that. I just want it to be next year. I want to play.
I was going to say it's probably going to be at least a couple of years before they get like a real finalized product. Honestly, here's the thing. I would much rather wait a whole nother year to get a good game that has a nice, reasonably stable launch, as opposed to getting it a year early and everything is D3 again.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because they're doing the always online thing again. But like, even more so this time, where it's actually like
in a way, I think.
I mean, I think this way looks a lot better than the way D3 was. Because D3 is like you're always online, but half the time you're only playing with 4 people. You probably would never see other people. At least this one, when you're playing, you'll just see other players. Like
like D3 feels like it was always online just to avoid cheating and to avoid the auction house stuff.
I was going to say it was more for DRM, I thought. Because if you play the game by yourself, then what the hell does that online thing going to benefit you? It doesn't.
You get random messages from people in trade chat.
Yeah, again, it's like, I don't want to cheating too.
I hate everybody.
I think because like in Borderlands 3, you can cheat and just make your own fucking weapon and bring it into the game.
All of them, you can.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about Diablo going open world?
I think it'd be really cool, honestly. Because the thing about Diablo is it's extremely linear, and like for someone who likes Diablo, that's fine because you're just gonna play through it, and then you'll get to adventure mode or something else where you're now farming for gear, and it's kind of different every time, even though it's kind of the same thing. So the fact that the whole game is just open from the start, I think is a lot better for people who aren't as interested.
Open with mounts, and I was a little concerned because they keep bringing up that it's non-linear story, so you can sort of do it in whatever order. I don't know. Sometimes the issues with games like that is that doing one region and then doing another region those regions don't necessarily mesh well together when you have that open design, because the storylines from both of them would need to be uninfluenced by the other, right? Mm-hmm. Which sometimes leads to a world that feels like that every area is its own little bubble, even though you rode straight in from one to the other. Because if you kill like a demon lord in the town over, and you ride over here, and they're all like, "Oh, my horse is dying," and you're like, did you guys not see the giant titan that I just blasted through a mountain?" And they're all like, "Yeah, that was great and all, but like, we're in a different region now, and we haven't progressed the story that far."
The Star Wars, the Old Republic effect.
Oh, yeah. Go find me 12 Bacta tanks.
I was a Sith Lord. Why am I helping these nobles in this stupid area? I hated it. I stopped playing. It pissed me off. But I think they alleviate your concern a bit because they said, like, if you want to do the story, you can. there is a story you can just follow. But it's more like that for people who don't want to be forced to do the story.
Yeah. Man. All right. Well,
I know that I'm giving. I was just saying, I know that I'm giving my worries. I figured I think it's a good idea to air out the worries now.
Oh, it definitely
before,
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Talking more about BlizzCon, I think I really feel like Overwatch 2 was announced maybe too early, and just feels like a trailer to get us back into Overwatch 1 a little bit. I don't know. I'm just being cynical about it, but I don't see Overwatch 2 coming out for a while.
I'm cynical of the fact that it's called Overwatch 2.
It should have just been Overwatch, and then like it's effectively like
New
a pseudo
Order or
expansion.
something. Yeah, it's an expansion.
Something like that. Like it's like effectively a PvE expansion. But here's something that I don't know if you guys have heard of. I think it was a while ago on 4chan, and they were doing somebody, supposedly a disgruntled Blizzard employee, and those supposed leaks and predictions, and one of them was actually for Overwatch, and one of the things they said was that Overwatch 2 was going to be a PvE game. Mm-hmm. Did any of you guys hear about that?
Yeah, I saw that.
No,
it was an interesting thought, but I can't remember any of the other like weird prediction bingos. There's some things about how the plot and whatnot will go on, whether or not that'll actually be true or the retcon will change any of that. That'll still be up. But I still kind of it's some food for thought about how they'll actually handle it. I don't really know. All I know is that it is a complete garbage show over there. If any of that person's predictions or confessions will be evident. So whether or not that'll actually turn out to be, those other predictions that he has will actually be true or not is still up in the air. But it's kind of weird to think of whether or not, it's really that bad over there.
He's dead on for Overwatch 2 at least, because for Overwatch 2, he said it is a PvE game. Because if you don't buy Overwatch 2, all the updates to heroes, the new maps, the new modes, if you have Overwatch, you get all of that. Overwatch 2 will give you the updated, I'm pretty sure it will give you updated skins of the characters and give you access to the single player stuff.
I was going to say, you get all the PvE content.
You get the push mode, or the push mode but only makes Overwatch 2.
I don't know if they're going to do that, though.
That doesn't make sense, though.
Yeah, because they're putting it into their esports circuit, so it's going to be an Overwatch league.
It has to be an Overwatch. Yeah, you're right.
It's so confusing, mostly because it definitely shouldn't be called 2. Hopefully, I just hope enough people can egg them on and say, just don't call it 2, just call it something else.
They're just going to call it 2 because calling it 2 makes more sales.
But you can put another box on the shelf that says Overwatch 2.
Even though it's effectively just a PvE expansion.
Yeah,
that's all.
People go to the store and they'll see Overwatch 2 and they'll buy it because it's Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
It's like the friggin'... You know how when games do a reboot and they'll just call it the name of the first game as the new game? And it just confuses the hell out of everyone because it's either a soft reboot, an HD re-release of the original game, or something completely different and they just slap the name on it.
Yeah, it's like the Wii U.
Oh, you want to know what a
No, it's not too soon. That console
Miles, that'd be if they renamed the Wii U into the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, boy.
No, it's still the Wii U, because literally it's called Wii U to capitalize on the success of the Wii. But then people thought, is this just an expansion? Why is it this much money? I'm not buying
this. It's just the Wii with a tablet.
But this is the thing, though, and it's still not necessarily the original game. Though that's the thing when I'm trying to go by in that regard, because even though that definitely should have been the Wii 2, and that would have made more sense, and is more catchier to remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of going by like Wolfenstein, for instance. Like there is the original Wolfenstein 3D. There is also the rebooted Wolfenstein that came out with the more recent Machine Games made with whole New Order and whatnot. But did you know that there is another Wolfenstein that came out in like 2009, and it was incredibly bland and forgettable, and it was just called Wolfenstein, sort of like Prince of Persia did that as well.
I think I remember hearing about that because I think Yahtzee did a review of it, and I think he did it entirely in Limerick because the game was so dull that he needed to do something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because the whole thing is like the game is just generic and dull. There really isn't much to it. It lacks anything particularly enjoyable or interesting. It's just generic FPS. Man. At least with the newer ones, it kind of brought back that kind of more fun classical feel. That the old school, like we're hitting a weird renaissance period within the last few years of like old school shooter reboots that are actually decent.
Fucking Doom is awesome.
Like Doom is doing great, and Wolfenstein, and they're both bringing back that kind of like that classical just have a lot of guns and shoot a lot of things with your cool guns. We don't care. It's awesome and be cool.
I mean, let's be honest. That's what was great about them in the beginning, and now that we have all these nice new pixels to play around with, it's.
I actually like playing Wolfenstein on easy and just destroying everything.
And here's the fun part too. They also got rid of a lot of the things that made them really crappy in the beginning, like getting a lot of key cards and maze levels. They trimmed that out. We got more modern level design, but we have the old school shooting fun. And that's a good place for some FPS games to be. Just that kind of arcadey, really just get down there and mindlessly gun everything that you don't like in the face. Like it's just a good kind of fun era. And we're going back to those times where you get a good blend of modern game design and classic game design. They kind of meet and have this beautiful product. It makes me happy. These are the kind of things that I like to see, where we can have the best of both worlds, and we don't have cynical little nostalgists and people who only believe that only the newest games are the best because all the old games look awful or run like ass or have bad gameplay decisions. No, we can have a good compromise, and those games are kind of where the compromise meets and makes something beautiful.
See, I'm on board with that thought part a little bit because there's old games that I love, like Via Pinata, for instance. The game doesn't look the best, but I'll go back and play it. And then the originals. So my thing is the original Xenoblade. Love that game. I got it Christmas way after it came out, but I actually was able to find a disc of it. Got it for Christmas. I played that game for 24 hours in the first 2 days. I played that game so much because I loved it.
That's dedication.
That game is painful to look at. It's not a good looking game. And then they're like, oh, here's Xenoblade, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. It looks beautiful. I'm like, I can't wait. It's like, I probably was not going to play. I love the original Xenoblade, but I probably would not play through that game again. The original one. But the remake that's coming out of it, 100% I'm playing that again. Because it looks so good. And it's like they're also adding new content they couldn't put in the original game.
Keep in mind, not every HD re-release of a game is necessarily better.
Oh yeah. There's definitely some that's not.
There's some that are we're definitely just trying to just harvest sales from the original, and sometimes as a result you'll break the game more than you'll actually fix. But a lot of times they are still nice though, because they can introduce a classic game to a new audience that may not have seen or heard from it when the game initially came out. So I'm not necessarily against the re-releases. They have to be done right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But the thing is that it's the weird reboots that kind of confuse me the most, though. Those are where everything goes bad. When you reboot a game and then everything just kind of goes completely not the right. Here's another example of where it didn't go very right. Devil May Cry did not have a particularly great reboot.
No, they changed the formula completely.
They changed the formula, tried to change everything, said it was pretty late, and then it just kind of went back on it, and everything just didn't go right. And then you're just like, nope, Devil May Cry 5. Yeah, what's that? Oh, it's actually fun. Okay.
Yeah.
5 is one of the best games I've played in my whole entire life. That game is so good.
Sometimes you just got to realize classics. So now all I can think about new games, and all I can think is, when will I ever get another good Paper Mario game?
Never.
Kind of on this line again. It's kind of sad. Sometimes I sit around and think there's not gonna be a game that I just pick up, and just try it and just fall in love with it. I don't think it's gonna happen again. I feel like we know too much stuff about games coming out. There's all these reviews. You can watch someone just playing the whole game. I remember
there is what's the whole mysticism of video games kind of really died out when you have so much forefront information because, say 10, 15 years ago, the internet culture of video games is still existing, but not as mainstream as it is now. So when you wanted anything about your video games, you usually looked at a magazine, your, Game Informed, Nintendo Power, PC Gamer, whatever you were looking at, and you trusted their words to see whatever new up-and-coming game was coming out. And you hoped, as you picked up your box copy from the store and brought it home, probably peering through the manual with it glimmering and twitching with anticipation and excitement, that it was going to be a good game. There are many times where you just put the disc in and you just get so excited, the title screen comes up and the intro goes, and you feel like it's really happening. Conversely, though, and this is where sometimes the information is better, you also put it up and then you start playing the game and then you realize, oh no, I spent money on this, and Dad's not going to buy another game for me. I begged and pleaded to get this game. We spent $40, $50 on this. I'm not getting. They're not going to let me return this back. GameStop's only going to give me $5 if I take it back to the store.
Curse you, Rocket Power Beach Bandits.
I have to play this now.
I have like 2 examples. So when you said opening up the title screen, just hearing like Dragon's Dogma. Like, I think that was one of the last games where me and Victor said, hey, let's buy this game and see what it's like. We put it in, you start playing it, it's like, it's like, very medieval sounding stuff. Oh, I'm getting into the mood of it. Yeah. Suddenly, Japanese rock comes in. Yeah, I don't know. And it's like, I still love Dragon's Dogma. That game was so good.
Good game, yeah.
And then, for the one that I would regret, Super Dragon Ball Z. I hate that game. I hate it.
Miles, I would have said Hellgate London.
Oh boy.
No, because I liked Hellgate. It just Hellgate didn't like Hellgate.
Hellgate just wasn't good. That was the issue.
Yeah.
I loved it too, but it went through a serious identity crisis.
Didn't it recently come back out again or something?
Yeah, but who's playing? Who's playing that game now? Yeah. It's I loved Break when that game came out again. It's like, hey, check us out. I ain't playing Break again. No one's playing it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good multiplayer games are pretty much entirely on life support just because their thinning player base just slowly but steadily bleeds out. There's a lot of fun, interesting, and unusual multiplayer games out there that you just cannot play anymore because nobody's playing them anymore. And it's a vicious cycle because you can't get people to play because nobody plays, and nobody plays because you can't get people to play. So no one's going to play your fun multiplayer game because there's nobody there. And it's
Heroes of the Storm.
Hold the fuck up.
Guns of Icarus is mine.
I
still have really good memories of getting on late at night with no one else. And the funniest thing is that when you get on that game at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, most of the people on there speak Russian, and I remember just crewing on there. I'm like, I don't know what half of you guys are saying, but whatever.
I do hold the torch out for that game. It is a fun game that nobody plays.
Mm-hmm.
I pre-ordered Alliance, which is that PvE thing, a year before it even came out.
Can I just say I'm looking at Overwatch 2, and I can't help but think about Guns of Icarus and how Guns of Icarus did the same thing, and it didn't work out well for them. No, because they went PvP, and everyone was like, "Yeah, PvP, this is a great time, sailing around with my friends, blowing up other people, and getting murdered." And then it's like, yeah, but we're gonna do PvE components, and there's gonna be a world, a meta game to it. And there's going to be bigger ships, and everyone's like, yeah, can you use the bigger ships from PvP? No, you can't.
I mean, personally, I just like the PvE aspect mostly from a player-based thing, because it's well, okay, fine, I can't get a big enough amount of people that we can go against each other, but I can have enough so I can have a crew to do something with. And if we don't, we can fight AI enemies instead of regular ones. Oh, I missed my ship.
Oh, man.
It was a Pyramidian with the ship designation.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was the designation. I think it was the SS not going to jail because I made it in. Because the entire story behind the ship was it was a bunch of prisoners who had escaped and stole the ship, and we were all pretending that we weren't prisoners, just pretending to be normal, and we're not going back to jail. So we'll get rid of anyone in our way.
Oh my god! All right, speaking of ships, let's do this back to BlizzCon news. So again about Heroes. So there's no love for Heroes. What the hell is that game just dead?
I think after they killed the esports league, yes.
Yeah, I mean
it's on very awkward life support. Currently, it's doing effectively just. It seems like what they're doing is just they'll have a little event or whatnot, and that's just kind of there to tide you over with a couple of cosmetics and a couple of other bits and bobs. I mean. They're just caving and going through some demands now. Deathwing was announced, so people can
you don't
say
understand
it on that,
how much that pisses me off.
What, Deathwing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Because I should be excited he's in that game, right? But every time a character that I love gets put into that game that I don't like, I just get upset.
You don't like the game, so of course you're gonna get upset. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I'm almost done with Heroes. The matchmaking kind of sucks if you're solo queuing. So.
Yeah.
I was gonna say real fast. The real game is not getting lost StarCraft. I haven't done anything for StarCraft.
They announced a co-op commander, and it's a guy I don't even like, but I'll probably play it anyway. Because
my problem is, who cares about? It's like, oh, we're adding this co-op commander into this game that we don't.
I
really
actually
do
like
anything
the
with.
co-op commanders. God damn it!
Okay, well, fair enough.
Screw you. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Miles.
Well, I mean, I still like the co-op commanders, but it is lackluster in terms of actual content for the game. Like, I like StarCraft. I don't necessarily love it, and I do like the PvE content, but it does still kind of leave a lot to be desired for the PvP and the other aspects of the game, because effectively, it's just dead in the water with a couple of tiny updates just to. They're just throwing the proverbial bone here.
I don't know why. Why would they not do something else with StarCraft by this point? They were good. Okay, so they were making a StarCraft first-person shooter, and that got canceled. Why the hell are you making a first-person shooter? Why not make another StarCraft game? Like what?
No.
Well, remember what? Here's the thing. Remember, Miles. The whole Overwatch game came out from the wreckage of a
Titan.
completely failed bigger project.
Well, I'm sad because I probably would have liked Titan more than Overwatch.
Oh yeah, Titan would have been interesting, but all I could think about though is just what else went through the ringer before we actually got any tangible product. What other bigger ambitions did this studio try to do that we could have had they had the right manpower or the right kind of time and funding?
I feel like just Blizzard. Blizzard just like, oh, we'll try this. The kid didn't work out because even WoW was going to be something else, and then they ended up being WoW.
And even Warcraft, not even World of Warcraft, just Warcraft. Because remember that and StarCraft were effectively just
they were Warhammer stuff.
Warhammer, and then StarCraft sort of the 40K thing. We just kind of got store brand by Blizzard Warhammer out of them. It became its own thing. So, that's sort of a thing there. Although, I will say this, it is kind of disheartening to see that, Blizzard didn't really get the Warhammer licenses for that, so they made Warcraft and StarCraft, for their kind of own conjecture versions. And, okay, then, Games Workshop, then, you can't get a good license for them because they obviously curate their games, and they obviously won't give the license out except for big, good companies. Have you seen some of the recent, Warhammer and Warhammer 40K games?
Good companies is
some are good, but a lot of them are ass.
Oh yeah, true. I'm thinking of Vermintide.
Good companies is corporate lingo for lots of money.
Oh god, there's so many. You want to know who got a license? Who got a license from fucking a Games Workshop up for Warhammer 40K?
THQ.
The people that made The Hell Redemption. That fucking awful ass game. They got
they're not dead yet.
It was Ride to Hell Redemption Retribution. That's what it was.
That game probably sold enough just from people talking about how bad it is.
Yeah. I couldn't even remember the fucking name of this game.
It's just the room of video games.
No, because that would mean there was some form of entertainment you can get out of it.
You can. It's pretty funny to watch someone play that game.
I guess. Here it is. You Technics. Wait. They're known for Ride Down Retribution, and they've worked with NASCAR the Game franchise.
Hey, big NASCAR. Everybody likes NASCAR.
What the fuck? Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's the other one. Warhammer 40K, Storm of Vengeance. It was not good.
No.
It was not good.
Let's talk about the WoW expansion. You can have a black guy in the WoW expansion, which is cool. I actually really enjoy that they're doing extra cosmetic stuff for customization options. The races.
Yeah, that was appreciated, but it feels like too little too late when it comes to stuff like that. Like, this should have been ages ago.
I think it should have been when they added new battles in Warlords.
Yeah.
I would say that, for specifically being, black in the game, they kind of already had that, but it's, it's like a filter over your character, basically.
You weren't black.
It's just a darker skin tone. That was it.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, I think the one that stood out to me is that there's actually Asian. That's very different.
Yeah,
when I saw that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so what are some other cliff notes from the expansion stuff? I don't know everything. I know about the level squish,
there's a level squish which puts you down to 50. The level progression is interesting in that they kind of made it so you can just kind of pick what expansion you want to get to. Up until obviously the current expansion.
I really don't mind that.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wait, Miles, you're against the level squish, Miles?
Yes.
Why?
Because here's my point, right? Same thing with like squishing down power. You're progressing a game and you're supposed to be getting stronger as the game keeps going. For some reason in Blizzard's mind, instead of getting your character stronger, we're just going to make you weaker. And then you will get stronger, but not as strong as you used to be. And it's just like, this is dumb.
I am going to say this, though. If we didn't do any squishes right now, our numbers would require a scientific answer.
Yes,
like,
and they should. This game's been out for like 15 years.
We would need exponential notation.
I think that's too much.
In my mind, if you're going to do this, make a new game. Like what? Like it's at this point, make a new game. You can do a lot more stuff in a new game, and you can constantly redoing the old one and just trying to just like manufacture the numbers to make it new. It's like I
can see that. I can see that argument where it's just kind of like the game's kind of tired. I think that's
we get up to 1 million and then we cut it down again. Now you have to kind of make your way up to back up to 1 million.
Not even 1 million. And in Miss before the first cut, Destro Warlocks with Chaos Bolt hit for 5 million on 2 targets.
Well,
now, that's a little ridiculous. I'll agree with that. But that's when the numbers were. Come Wars of Draenor, it's 1,000. I'm like, I skipped over Warlords of Draenor. I wouldn't play them. When I came back in Legion, my damage, like, I leveled through Warlords, obviously. But when I got to Legion content, my damage went up to where it probably would have, not as high, but about where it would have been if they just continued from Miss. So what the hell was the point of squishing it in Warlords?
Just to make the numbers more readable. I mean, I feel like you know that. That's the answer.
But you can make them. They already make them readable.
But they end up at the end of the
like
next expansion to be unreadable again.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I feel like there's a very big issue, and I feel this is my thing I talked about beforehand, where Blizzard feels like we know what's best. This is what's best. This is what we're doing. When they skip out stuff like, hey, players like to feel stronger. They like a sense of progression. They like to see their characters getting stronger. What are we gonna do? We're gonna take their numbers and we're gonna cut them to 10% of what they should be. Probably lower than that.
You know what? I can meet you on the damage. I can see that. I don't agree with you on the levels because I think the levels are just like they don't mean anything.
I was gonna say the
big damage. I can see you. I can meet you.
Yeah, damage. I would still say damage is. I can agree with the damage, but the thing about levels though is just that at a certain point, what does a level give you?
Nothing.
It's a number that goes up until you cap.
So, and leveling to a new... So my thing with the levels is a level cap matters to me. Obviously, I don't really care about leveling to cap. But I feel like there is power in when you're thinking about when I was level 85, this is the kind of content I was doing. When I was this level, this is what was out. This is what abilities I had. Now you're back at 60. So now it's like vanilla WoW numbers of being at 6. Like, you know what I mean? That's what the part that bothers me.
I can say, especially someone who plays the game to look at the numbers, because I feel like you're really into the numbers. Now, I can see that being a thing that would bother you. And for someone who plays like me, who's casual with the game, I kind of want the numbers to be smaller so I can read them. But I see what you're saying.
I can already read them. I mean, I get that, but then at the end of the day, well, you know what Blizzard already has in the game? When something hits for 1 billion, or someone has 1 billion HP, it just says B. And you know what it is. It's not difficult to read.
Oh god, and I just thought we're gonna let the numbers get big. You know how we're gonna do it? They're gonna do those fucking clicker game abbreviations.
I wonder if there's any this is kind of get technical. If there's any coding limitations to the code while the numbers have to be a different size.
Then you know what solves that? A new game.
Because
it's been 15 years.
A better engine.
Yeah,
and it's also the fact, like the other part. Past numbers that annoys me is like Blizzard. Another thing that they mess up all the time is you're going to a new expansion. You have all these abilities, all this power, all this strength. Your class has a certain way that it plays. It's really intricate between all the abilities they give you. Maybe some just do damage. They don't do a lot, but it's there, as part of your class. New expansion comes out. This one's gone. This one's gone. This one's gone.
I fucking hate that too. It sucks.
The pruning is awful. It just wasn't good to just take away more utility
and they take away your fun abilities too. Like, what the fuck?
You lose class identity, but you also you play a game to have fun with your character, not just I make the number bigger.
What was it, Eyes of the Beast, Mike? That I used to like.
Oh yeah, Eyes of the Beast.
Yeah, where you control your pet. Yeah.
Why is that gone?
Because there's absolutely no way that one's actually game breaking, right?
Nope.
Like it's not. No one's like, oh man, Eyes of the Beast, so broken.
Yeah.
They get and not do anything.
Yeah.
The one that always killed me is why was demonic circle. Why was that in the talent tree? What? Why do I have to talent into something that was core to my class? Like Warlock talent tree and Legion. this like pissed me off in general because there's so much stuff in that tree. They didn't add new things. Most classes got new stuff. Warlocks, they gutted the shit out of us and put it in the talent tree. I hate it. Oh, that pissed me off.
Yeah. Which expansion was it that they purposefully just nerfed Warlocks? Especially
it was
Demo
Warlords.
Warlocks.
Warlords? Because in Mist, Warlocks were like the best they ever were in Mist. They were probably way too good, but like every single spec was good and had really cool things they could play. Then in Warlords, no.
because I remember I was rolling up a Warlock like just before the expansion, and someone was like, yeah, Warlocks are just gonna be bad this expansion. And so I look up and the patch notes are literally every single damage spell does 25% less damage. Just
yeah, they like went way over.
25% less damage, 25%. I'm like, why? Why is it? It can't be that bad. I mean, 25% is a lot to cut off or something.
I'm over here complaining about Eyes of the Beast. You guys can't even play the game.
Oh, what sucks is like, okay, I didn't play Warlords, right? But I came back in Legion. They were still broken in Legion because they put in Demon Hunters. So they scraped a lot of stuff out of Warlocks for the sake of Demon Hunters, and then like
they cannibalized most of Demonology's mechanics.
Yep.
To just toss into Demon Hunters.
Demonology was so bad at the end of Legion. They're like, yeah, we can't fix this. So sorry. Next expansion. It's like, what? Like, how are you going to leave it like that?
What was it? Was it Legion or the other one, the one before it, Draenor? That they legitimately after the expansion they said, yeah, no, the reason why they were so bad is because we just didn't want anyone playing the class. Like I remember them saying that specifically.
I don't remember that, so it might have been Warlords.
Yeah, I remember them coming out being like, yeah, no, we just because I remember one of the devs being asked and they're like, oh yeah, we just didn't want anyone playing Warlocks
because like
whatever reason.
I could see Warlords because in Legion, like not Legion, Miss Warlocks were really good. Dude, they were just really, really. Every spec was good for Warlocks. Like Miss, I actually played every single spec and swapped between them based on fights because some were better on certain fights, but like I played all of them because everyone was good. Legion, I just played Destro. I didn't touch the other two. That's also because Legion had legendaries and I wasn't gonna do all that. No, that was way too much work. Okay, so like.
Legos?
Oh, no, not even legendaries. Past legendaries. The artifact itself was like way too much work to match for multiple specs. No way.
Miles, I want to let you know at some height of Legion, and I got incredibly bored, and I ended up leveling and collecting weapons for nearly every single class.
Goodness gracious!
And I got everything but Monk. I just kind of like by the time I hit Monk, I kind of just burn out. And so I have a whole bunch of freaking like max level, well at least Legion max level nowadays. These characters, it's just like, what did I do? What have I become? At some point, I just got to go back and just realize that I am a monster, a really bored monster.
I was gonna say also like the artifact system. It was so cool, right? All the story stuff around it, all that stuff was cool. The added power. You know what's not cool? Here comes the next expansion. Did they add that stuff to the classes? No, they just got rid of it.
Yeah, the invalidation and then ruining. Especially because the thing about the artifacts were that like they were a good progressional system and kind of supplemented where the talent trees were lacking.
It was basically, I saw it as adventure mode, almost. That's actually what the new tower thing is in the expansion, but I saw artifacts as like adventure mode and Paragon levels, right? Because you're constantly making your character stronger through this weapon. But the problem is, the thing I didn't like is like, you know what? I like raiding, obviously. So I want to play WoW. I want to raid. I want to get my gear from raid, because that should be the best gear in the game because it's the hardest content. And like because it's the hardest content and the best gear, it's designed to be good. But in Legion, they're like, hey, Mythic Dungeons. Okay, maybe that's a cool side thing you can do. Nah, you basically have to run them because the trinkets there are the same item level as raid trinkets. So some of those are just better. And it's like, okay, Blizzard, I get that you want people to play your game, but why are you requiring people to play your game and do everything in your game? Like, it was nice to be able to like show up, raid for like 30 hours a week, like maybe even more than that. So I'm already playing the game a lot just in this one aspect, and then be like, okay, I'll just go play something else for a while until next raid time. And I was like, nope, you got to do this, and then this, and then this, or you're not keeping up in competitive level.
Hey, Miles. Do you remember the unholy lord of the unstable Arcana Crystal?
Oh my god. Oh, I hate that thing. Like, why is one of the best trinkets in the game a stat stick that does nothing and drops off a world boss that's up once a month? What are they? That was so stupid.
Good old withered Jim. Just, what is it? It's just all the secondary stats. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, it means it's actually, because of the stat distribution, surprisingly good for nearly every class.
So
also, it's on a boss that only shows up
stupid.
rarely. Go fuck yourself.
Like, what are they doing? Hopefully, they got rid of Titan Forging, was one of the dumbest things they ever came up with. But they put in something new that's even more RNG. But hopefully, in the new expansion, it's just gone. Like, just stop. Just make gear drop.
What is it? The thing on Mists where you could just like consistently upgrade a piece of gear as opposed to.
No, because Mist still had Warforging, which is just as bad. It's just the thing is.
No, but I'm talking about just the standard item level, not the actual Warforging.
Yeah, I know. I didn't like that thing. I know what you're talking about. I didn't like not the level up system. That one was fine, but that was more for like very specific things. There was like.
But I was thinking more like that, but more just that's how the gear goes.
It's not transmog. What was it called? The other thing where you literally could change. Yes, reforging.
I did like reforging. That was.
I liked it at first, but then when you're raiding and you have to do it on every single piece of gear and you have to run an add-on because the numbers are insane, I did not like. Stop.
Yeah, no, the numbers get a little too ridiculous, but
because you need, as a Destro Warlock, I need this much crit to have good enough damage here. Then I need this much hit because this is a stupid stat that still existed, and then I needed this much of this, and it's just like, oh god, it was not fun.
Yeah, but I would say though, just being able to consistently level up your gear though, I would enjoy that in a way. Like you can get up to a certain point, and then it just caps off there, which means you can actually get upgrades beyond that, and not just keep the same piece of gear and hope you get a better, higher item level version of the same piece of gear, because that just turns it into gambling.
Yeah, that's what it was. They wanted you to keep running content. I mean, because like WoW already, like my thing is, WoW already has your subscription. You're playing the game. You're already paying to play it. Why do you need me to be on every single other day? Like, the money's not increasing. Okay, I don't want to derail WoW too much, but like the new expansion looks cool. I think the story is cool. I was gonna get so pissed off if Sylvanas put on the crown.
Are they going to be putting back in like a Valor type of system for more guaranteed like results and rewards and stuff like that?
They should. Like that was the other thing. It's like, why the hell is rewards for PvP random? What are you doing? Like what?
We need more consistency.
Blizzard is crazy.
RNG is fine, so long as you have some consistency underlying it. If the system is complete RNG, it's painful to play through.
Yep.
It just is.
Like I think the new legendaries are cool because you can actually pick the one you make.
Complete RNG. Classic WoW. Classic WoW is complete RNG. You go, you kill a boss, doesn't drop gear that anyone in your group can wear. Hopefully. You run Molten Core. As an alliance group, Shaman gear can drop. As a horde group, Paladin gear can drop. That's RNG. It just got screwed. Good luck. I was about like we're a far away from that era. There's a reason why Classic WoW is separate from Live WoW. Relying too much on RNG is not good.
Yep. And then it's just I don't know. Like all that stuff to me is like, we're Blizzard. We know what's best, which they do all the time. And then it comes out, people tell you, hey, this is not so good. Can we change this? Nah, you'll like it. And it doesn't happen.
To me, a lot about Blizzard too is they're really flip-floppy with the whole, we think we know more than you, but at the halftime, okay, maybe we should listen to some of you, but we don't listen to everyone. So all they do is just listen to weird pandery stuff and assume that's better than core mechanic stuff.
You always just got to remember the Classic WoW. Will you guys ever make a Classic server? You think you want that, but you don't. Okay. And then it comes out, oh, surprise, surprise. It's very, very popular because people wanted to see this for years. Oh, glad we thought about this. Okay, Blizzard. Okay. Victor? Where'd he go?
He's forever in our hearts.
I'm like, because I will keep ranting. So like, maybe we should move on.
I mean, we still have one last thing on the little bit here, Blizzcon, which is the fact that we're getting a new mode in Hearthstone, which effectively is kind of strange because it's kind of mixing up card game with auto battler, which is kind of weird. The whole like auto chess, auto battler genre is kind of taking off, and this is effectively Blizzard's bizarre foray into the mix here, and it's randomized Hearthstone.
Hello? Oh, hey, I'm back.
Hey, look, it's the guy.
Wait, before you go to Hearthstone, I had a quick question. What's the main mechanic of Shadowlands? We've never talked about that.
Oh, the covenants.
Covenants.
So there's also a pitfall here. So like there's 4 specific covenants, right? I think that what they're going to do with this is where the PvP is going to be based around this rather than, factions, because the faction war is done.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to pick one. But the thing is, each of them all have their own separate abilities. 2 cosmetic, more fun things for just moving around. 1 that's actually an active damage skill or defensive. And it's by class you get a different one based on what you're in. So the problem is that Blizzard wants you to be in one and stay in it. But the trick will be is one of these is just going to be better because that's just how it all is. So everyone of a certain class will be in that one.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, you have these covenants, but there's only one best covenant. Like, I already know.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
So unless they can find some way to make the damage not that... So either they make the damage not matter, so that ability literally just doesn't matter, or one will just be better for each class. One is going to be better. So all classes will be in the one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to be halfway through the expansion, and Blizzard goes, all right, here's the new patch. It's live. And just one covenant just gets nerfed into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And every single high-end raider is just scrambling to try to go for a new covenant.
Yep.
Like they're like there's 5,000 people trying to take these new quests, just murdering mobs in order to gain this rep for the new covenant because they're like, man, I really need this new freaking ability right now.
Yeah.
Because they broke the old one. They I don't know, doubled the cooldown or gave it a cost or something like that. Give it something stupid.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
You know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because when you have that many abilities, they're going to go... There is going to be one that's going to be better than the rest, right?
I mean, like the talent trees. The whole idea of the talent trees was to be like, hey, like, you have more choice, and then you end up not having more choice.
Yeah, there's not more choice. There's one specific build that's really good.
Yeah. So...
But it's the illusion of choice, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I still have a choice because I don't care about winning. I just want to throw my glaives. Or whatever, fuck.
Yeah, but you're always going to get people who need to go with the meta, so...
Yeah.
Meta is going to trump a lot of fun for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there's also that, I kind of alluded to, but didn't really say, there's like a tower, I can't remember what it's called, but there's like a tower that's basically the endless mode. So you can go into it, and like, it's almost like a roguelike too. So every time you go in, it'll be a different experience as you level up. You can go in alone or with a party, and like, you can progress through it. I think that's cool, and with that tower is how you get the legendaries. And you can pick which one you get.
That's a cool mix of having content for smaller groups, too. I like that.
Yeah. Because I think that is actually really cool. Like, that's something in this expansion. Like, I could play just for that. That seems cool. But I know me, and if I start playing WoW again, I'll start wanting to raid.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to get into WoW. I keep saying this, but, like, I always buy a month, play for, like, a day or two, and stop.
Yeah, you told me, like, hey, the next match, I'm going to be raiding. It's like, really? I'm excited to see this. What happened?
I forget what. I don't know.
I don't know.
I started leveling and I got tired.
I was gonna say, I don't know what happened with this expansion. I just completely ran out of steam like halfway through leveling a second character. I'm like, this just isn't fun.
Yeah.
Where did the fun go?
For me, this is the first expansion that I haven't gotten to level cap yet. Just because I played first day of launch and I
did too, yeah.
And I ran out of steam with it and I was like, all right, this is all right.
It's like Island Expeditions, all these other stuff, and it's like I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. It doesn't feel enjoyable.
Maybe I'll try one more time. Maybe I'll give it a try. I don't know. That's $15 down the tree.
Yeah, I went to Drustvar. I had a lot of fun in Drustvar. I was like, yeah, look at these weird druid things and the wicker and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, what are the rest of you guys doing? Just sitting out, being upset because the waves are a little too crashy on you. All right,
crashy splashy.
That's real upsetting. Yeah, you want me to catch you some fish or something like that?
I think it's funny that every time we do the podcast, it's supposed to be like we're talking about all games. We talk about Blizzard for 45%.
Well,
that's what we're into.
You see, the biggest problem is we open with it. We open with it.
Every time
we should save that for the end because what happens is this is our big friggin' moment.
Yeah, definitely right. All right, Jeff, take us into Hearthstone. What's up with that?
So effectively, what they've drawn, and I'll keep this one relatively quick, is again, it's an auto battler, but in Hearthstone mechanics. So effectively, it's a bunch of minions. You pick a hero that gives you effectively a little bit of a passive or active like boost to your extra little battles, and effectively, it's auto battler. You buy units, they're placed on the board, and they'll all whack each other in the way that Hearthstone characters and minions will all beat each other up. Similar premise, whichever side wins, you deal damage based on how many surviving guys you have left. So it's a fairly simple mechanic, but it makes me wonder, and this is where it kind of gets a bit weird of just, is this just Blizzard doing a weird, janky copycat of an existing fad that already came out?
Yeah. I think so.
Because that's all it really seems to be.
I think this is interesting because I've been watching Crypt play and it looks okay. This looks pretty fun. I might actually boot up Hearthstone again. I used to love Hearthstone. I stopped playing it. Like this looks good enough for me to actually try out Hearthstone again. But I agree because I feel like this is like Heroes of the Storm, where Heroes was going to be just a free add-in on StarCraft 2, and then took longer and then came out its own thing. So I feel like this time they just decided instead of waiting on this idea and for it to be too late, which it's kind of already late. Like auto chess kind of fell off pretty hard already. Not hard, but like it's not as big as it used to be.
It's not as big, especially with the other like League has their alternative now.
Yeah, League has it. Dota has theirs.
Yep.
So what is it an open beta right now? Like, could I play right now?
No. You have to
pre-order
ticket.
the expansion or have a BlizzCon ticket. Either way, it's going to run you like $50.
Is there going to be an open beta?
Yes, that should be later. I think it's a few weeks from now.
Few weeks.
Yeah. That's the I hate when like I don't mind if you're gonna have like broken up launches, let people try it, then we'll get more people in to keep it fresh. Why am I waiting several weeks when I watch this person play it and it's like, okay, well, I just don't care anymore?
Well, they're an influencer, so they get priority.
I mean, some of that is fine, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, so my big one was MapleStory 2. Like, I was excited for MapleStory 2, but then it's like, oh, but if you pre-ordered and did all this stuff or have this giant $100 package we have, you can play 2 weeks early. So then, while waiting, Dragalia came out, and I was playing Dragalia a lot, and then like MapleStory 2 launched, like, I'm just gonna keep playing Dragalia.
I remember that. I was like, you're not playing MapleStory 2. I guess he doesn't want to play it.
I did, but like the tiered launch system, I hate it.
Yeah, it sucks.
Because I just lose interest. It's like, oh, I want to be in with everyone and start playing at the same time.
It just hurts the hype for the game.
I can play this.
Yeah, I was gonna say the big problem is just that you can't really gauge as much interest for it if you just keep putting off other people who had some chance of playing it, but now they can't wait because they have to be on the waiting list. And the big thing is games launch all the friggin' time. So if you're not getting the immediate attention of this person, they're going to find something else, either a new game, or they'll just go back to the old games that they were already playing. And they'll just forget about whatever you had out. And that's not a good idea. It's one thing to say, okay, 2 or 3 days so that you can see people play, have fun, you get some decent reviews, maybe a week at the most so that you can see, people have time to make a good structured opinion. But when you're doing several weeks to a month, you've lost and you've killed off more interest. Unless those content creators can just make some really interesting content with it that keeps people going like, oh, I really, really want to play.
Yeah, unless they're literally going to sell the game to you.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it.
And then it just becomes a case of, well, what else can I do? I'll just do that instead. Hey, my other friends will just play this instead. Or, another new game that I can actually play when it comes out and hear stuff about. I'll just play that.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the big thing. It's maintaining interest, and you're not going to get that if you just keep gating it.
I'll add in, I'm not really talking about like just content creators, because like I basically did that with the Sonic game, but like also it was in a way where me playing it, and it's not like, I didn't pay money to play this early, right? They just sent it to me. But me playing it and showing it to people got people actually into buying it.
Yeah. But
I more mean like, so let's say MapleStory 2 is a free-to-play game. Meant to be a free-to-play game. But if you pay extra on top, you can play 2 weeks early.
Yeah, that just sucks.
But then it's like, Final Fantasy expansions, there's a 1 week early period. And for that, you just pre-order the game. I was going to buy it anyway, Like, I feel like that's like a little bit of difference, but yeah, I still agree.
It's kind of like the Fortnite PvE mode.
Oh no! Don't tell me. I played that back in the day. I actually played the launch of that, and I bought like a one of the cheaper packs. I didn't go like full ham into it, and I enjoyed it for what it was. But it needed some adjusting. Then the Battle Royale mode came, and it just completely kind of got thrown into a dusty attic and never let out again.
Yeah. I would be so into Fortnite if it wasn't for the fucking building. I think the building is dumb.
I don't think the building is too bad, but the biggest problem I had with it was just the dumb resource collection, and then they capped off the resources. You can only have 1,000, and that's nowhere near enough to build anything cool. So the only way to actually build anything is to get a bunch of friends to be your fucking resource slaves to build shit for you.
Oh, yeah, you spend as soon as you drop, you're just swinging your shitty pickaxe at the wall.
Well, that's the thing I have against the PvE gun. I got stuck in one of the like story bits where you're just like, oh, you have to defend against another onslaught. Except you need other friends to either help you defend this or more people to just build this stupid base. And I just got completely burnt out on just grinding, effectively just going on resource gathering missions just to collect bits and bobs to finish the base. And I was like, what is the point of this? And then I just stopped.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right. Let's talk about EA.
Oh,
EA
finally.
It's in the game. Well, okay. Well, firstly, what do we think was going to happen with BioWare? Like, Anthem isn't getting any more updates, or at least it doesn't look like it.
They're going to say it will. That game is dead. Another lead
Anthem's fucking
that
dead.
game is dead.
Yeah.
So, what do you think's going to happen to BioWare? Is BioWare going to fall to the wayside? Like,
I think they will. I'm not happy because I really, really wanted... Like, BioWare's one of my favorite companies. Yeah, well, they're still making it, but I'm worried the game's not even going to be good.
Yeah, when was the last time a BioWare game came out that you played, though? Like
Inquisition.
Did you play Inquisition?
I didn't finish Inquisition, but I did play it.
Inquisition has a lot of fluff, but it was a fun game.
Here's a thought in my mind right now, though, is what studios does EA currently own right now that they can still actively make decent amounts of money on?
Respawn Entertainment, BioWare.
DICE.
Yeah, DICE.
How about the mobile divisions?
They run Zynga or something.
Yeah, no idea.
I don't.
They own the fucking the one that makes Plants vs Zombies. Whatever company did
PopCap.
PopCap, yeah.
Yeah.
I miss classic PopCap, man. They had a lot of little fun, quirky games that were just.
Remember
really
what was the game that there was the official WoW add-on for it?
No, they have two. It was Bejeweled and it was Peggle.
What?
Peggle.
Oh yeah, Peggle was awesome.
WoW.
Do you know that there is a bizarre jank ass version of it that you can get to run modern versions of WoW?
Wait, really?
No.
Yes, I don't remember if it was Bejeweled or if it was Peggle. I can't remember. I'll have to find it. It might have been Peggle, but yeah, there is just an old jank ass. Like you can sort of get it working on a more modern. It was the time when you just had PopCap devs that played WoW and they just had so much fun. They just put their game in this game.
Man,
I miss those fun times where you just add extra content like that. Because, at some point, somebody would have made that a paid add-on.
Yep.
Nowadays, that would have been paid.
Nowadays, that's nice $5 on your phone.
Man.
It's
no more.
Honestly, I just want PopCap to be just like back doing other things because I just want Insane Aquarium 2 to exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dumb little game where you just feed fish and shoot aliens, but I love the bits. It's just a little aquarium that all you do is feed fish until they crapped out coins so you could add more fish and then make more money off of these little fish that you feed. And then sometimes aliens showed up and you shoot the crap out of them. Look, man, these were the earlier days of video games where you didn't really worry about
things.
Yeah, because again, PopCap was still somewhat of an established studio, so it's not like it's just a sole indie project or anything, but it was fun, and I liked it. That was when people just liked fun. I mean, you still get a lot more people focused on fun with some of the smaller studios, some of the indies, and there's a couple of AAA that still remember what fun tastes like.
Like 3.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
They remember essence of fun.
Well, I guess putting games back on Steam is fun. That's what EA's doing.
but I mean, that's the thing, though, is whether or not EA is still going to be able to keep it profitable. And I wonder whether or not they'll slowly close down, or...
I feel like Origins isn't doing that much for them. So they're coming back on Steam, and I also think that they're probably getting a better cut from Steam.
Yeah, a better deal. And they probably realized they were just limiting themselves by not being on Steam.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they'll save more in the long run by not having to maintain servers.
Yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Well, I think they might still have their own servers because Origin isn't going away.
Yeah, right? But it isn't. But they said that Origins and Steam, the games are on both, will be able to play with each other.
Oh, okay.
So it'll cross-platform. It'll kind of integrate itself.
Yeah.
The question I have is whether or not some of those older games
will be playable.
Their older library will be available on the store again.
Okay, they have to be, and here's why. I didn't think about this until now. Because Access is coming to Steam, right?
Yeah.
So you got to have the ability to play those games, or else you can't have access on Steam. So
it's got to be to some extent.
Yeah. So no, it has to. I would say it has to be the full extent because otherwise you're paying for something, you're getting a smaller product.
Yeah, you're getting a worse value.
Yeah, you're getting a worse value.
And I was gonna say, in terms of how they handle the actual access, I'm more or less trying to think about whether or not they'll do the this is an Access exclusive kind of thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Maybe. Now, they might just handle that in the sense of, you can play this, and we'll go back to the other thing. If you have Origin Access, you can play this a week before it goes out in the store normally. Maybe it might work something more like that, where you have access and you can do that. Or if they'll do something more along the lines of, again, if you have access, then you can actually play this one. Who knows how they'll try to deal with it.
I mean,
honestly, Origin Access isn't the worst. It's interesting that game subscription services are kind of coming back. Now, in the old days, it was more for game rentals, where you just rented physical discs. Like GameFly did that. And I don't know if they still do that.
What was the one that was literally not GameFly, but it was one that was on the computer? You could play a bunch of old games, like the Sam and Max series were on it.
GameTap.
GameTap.
Yeah, GameTap.
Yeah.
If you want to go by, because now here's the other thing too. Cloud gaming is starting to become a bigger thing again. We have that.
What is cloud gaming?
Cloud gaming is gaming through effectively a proxy network of another computer that'll actually do the gaming for you, and you just kind of indirectly do the controls. It's kind of weird.
Are you talking about Stadia?
I'm not talking about Stadia. I'm talking about OnLive.
Yeah.
Do you remember OnLive?
Yes.
They tried doing cloud gaming way before everyone else.
Back when our internet infrastructure couldn't handle that.
It still can't. Let's be real here. A lot of people out here don't have proper ISPs.
I still live in New York.
So we could drift a little bit in the Stadia.
Yeah,
I feel like if anyone can do it, it'd be Google.
I agree with that statement. No,
because there's a huge problem. Do you not remember Google has a very infamous track record for picking up a project, going some progress with it, and then completely dropping and throwing it away?
Yeah, but also I feel like Google's a company that has enough money that they can let's take so we're skipping ahead a bit, or it's not even on here. But the Mixer thing, or Microsoft through Mixer bought Ninja and Shroud. Now, Mixer as a platform isn't really doing much better because of them, but right now people are talking about Mixer, right? So their money, and Microsoft makes $1 billion in a quarter. They have the money to throw around at this problem.
It's the whole Alphabet network, really.
Yeah, but then my thing is Google with Stadia has enough money through other things that they can have Stadia be this thing where maybe it doesn't work out so well, but as long as they keep integrating on it, it can be a thing. And then 5G is on its way.
I mean, yeah, the thing is that's kind of how they get away with YouTube. They hemorrhage a crap ton of money through YouTube, but they still support it through their other.
And YouTube supports what Google does. Google makes most of his money through selling you ads. That's what YouTube does. So it just lets them do.
But I'm also still looking at the big Google graveyard right now.
Yeah, give me some examples. Hit me.
Google Answers.
Oh no!
Okay,
Stop.
Yeah. Google Plus just died recently.
Oh no!
Google Video Player. Remember that? That's pre-YouTube, mind you.
Yeah.
Google Web APIs. If I recall, didn't they get rid of their home network work thing? It's like Nest or something like that with that, and they had some issues with that. I can't remember too much with that. Then they got rid of
I would say my one argument against that is that this is more high profile, I think, and this is for them to cancel this will be a bigger issue than canceling the other services. This is a new video game console-esque thing.
Yeah, it's a first attempt at 100% cloud gaming.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a new department. Oh,
yeah, it's a new department. It's way too big to just shut down.
I mean, coincidentally, I was one of the beta testers for Stadia.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, you were?
I remember. I was a Project Stream beta tester. The game was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and as a result, I have a free copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey thanks to them. But it does still put.
I thought about getting Stadia, but I'm nervous.
Well, here's the big problem with it: is not only is it cloud, which means you don't necessarily have a physical copy of your game, but if the server's ever shut down, you don't really own your game.
That's something I've been thinking about because, like, iTunes is like, yeah, we're getting our iTunes. And it's like, wait, I have a bunch of songs on here. What the hell happens to those?
Yeah, they're just gone. That's the thing. So, and it's when, not an if, when Stadia eventually shuts down. Because, I'm not saying it's this, but even whether or not it'll be through a new predecessor or successor or just canceled outright, those games you're going to have are gone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm well aware of my Steam library. It's massive, and I may never actually finish everything. And I know somewhere in the deep future, Valve servers are going to not last. But here's the big thing: my games, for the most part, are still down. A lot of them will still be downloaded to my client, so they'll probably have some sort of offline support for it. So my game will be downloaded and exist. If you try to do that, you have to connect to Stadia, a server that may not exist anymore. And even if it did, you may not be able to play solely just because even if you download it to your computer, you played Stadia because you don't have the hardware to play it most of the time. So you have a non-functioning game on a non-functioning computer for it.
It seems like Stadia should be more marketed towards the casual game or someone who doesn't want a full console.
Yeah.
But
I think that's what it is marketed towards, but it's just like they won't hear about it until it's out in people's hands, kind of thing.
Yeah, because right now it's still with the beta period. Even
like cloud gaming is an interesting concept. I don't hate it. It's just the ephemeral nature of cloud gaming puts it at risk for so much.
It's scary.
Because digital DRM and things through like Steam or whatnot, where we've been getting rid of like physical copies of games. Yes, they do exist in some sort of weird, bizarre format. We have to play through, another way, and if those servers go down, we lose those. But one where just everything is lost. Every single thing is lost when those servers go down.
I mean, all your saves are up there too. If any small issues occur,
your game, everything that you've put up there is just gone. Because at least with Steam servers go down. I boot it in offline mode, and I play all the single-player games that'll work offline. I still get something out of Steam's library. It may not be the greatest thing, and even then, offline mode is buggy. But guess what? Even then, I still have some chance. Stadia, you have no chance. I'll take some chance over no chance 10 times out of 10. Because what are you going to play if it's gone? That's the other thing, too. You need an internet connection, and if it's not stable, it's gonna go jank. Like,
say you have people over and they start looking at YouTube while you're trying to play a game, like you're fucked.
It's a little bit more stable than that.
Well, I mean bandwidth wise.
But yeah, no. But that's the other thing too. ISPs need to shape up too. If like Google got stonewalled by the other ISPs for trying to spread fiber around, then that's not really great. If we got more, and I don't understand why the ISPs would stonewall themselves so well,
because they know they don't have to. The thing is, the ISPs, they split the country up into their own little monopolies, and they know they don't have to do anything. They can just
it's an oligopoly.
It's like I have to have Xfinity where I am. I don't want to. I want Verizon,
but the only reason why I would say that is just because, and this is from a really cynical, destructive way. If more people are connected to the internet in a really easy and fast format, they can pump out even more ads to us. Like, that's looking at it from the cynical business perspective. They can get us a lot more advertising content faster, reliable, and way more efficiently if everyone had better internet connections.
It's so crazy on everything.
It's disgusting, but that would be the only way to convince them to get their motive out.
Yeah.
Also, looking through the Google playlist here, there's some things that I missed that I completely forgot about. Like YouTube having video annotations. Or the Google URL shortener. That Google.le, that's gone. That YouTube gaming.
Oh god, that was.
I forgot about that.
Remember Google Glass?
All right, that was actually also high profile. You're right.
I forgot about that.
I completely forgot about Glass.
I mean, I feel like
every once in a while I think about Google Glass, and I'm just like,
cool, but I was just like, when's that coming out? Oh wait, it's not.
If I recall, the project, one of the reasons why the project got canceled was also one of the head developers died.
Oh,
so yeah, but it was more of a weird enterprise thing too. And the big problem is, I mean, this was one of the forerunners into wearable tech. The concept of having this sort of form of technology that's just literally a part of you, as opposed to like a side thing, like a smartphone. But whether or not that actually, was actually good. Because a lot of people, the big controversy back in the day was there's a camera in front of you at all times. People don't want to be recorded at all times. It was not that popular for the public areas because of that. People respect privacy, although a lot of people give that away in a heartbeat for convenience a lot of times.
See, a thing like that. Remember Microsoft Surface?
Oh,
what, the first one? The tablet?
The table. No, the table.
That was not Surface.
That's not the Surface.
What is it
Microsoft Surface, you're talking about the Hollow...
HoloLens?
No. Yeah. There was a thing with Bill Gates. It was him with a video with him with a table with a screen on it.
Oh.
I thought that was the...
I thought that was Surface because it wasn't a HoloLens. It was literally a table with a screen built
laptop
into
thingy.
it.
No, I know what you're talking about, but I thought that was like HoloLens 1, like early AR stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm gonna type in Microsoft table.
Also, while you're typing, how long have we been going? I forgot to start a timer.
Microsoft Surface multimedia coffee tables. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Surface.
Marcy, get a time check. Do you have time?
retro Microsoft 2008 Surface coffee table. Yeah, so that was Surface before they turned it into a tablet.
Well, that would explain why I couldn't figure it out because that's rather strange.
Yeah.
Also, why do I have a Polish soup recipe
40
on my
seconds.
Google list?
Okay. Gotcha. All right, we can keep going. Let's go. Let's talk about the payday and paid DLC thing. Jeff, you take lead on this again.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay,
You got it.
Okay, it's showtime. So both Payday 2 and Killing Floor 2 were both fairly long-running games. Payday 2 being quite the long-running game. Payday 2, in the last few years, officially finished. And they were pretty much like, we were going to release free DLC and then we'll go. And they effectively have their beginning, middle, and end, and have a final mission storyline. Just even a cutscene at the end, believe it or not. Like a bonus one if you do the secret stuff. That pretty much just helps summarize and finish the game for you. But recently, the company, Starbreeze, and Overkill by proxy, because Starbreeze owns Overkill and partnered with it, or at least that's what I recall, they got raided, and a lot of Overkill's games were not doing very well. Namely, the Walking Dead game, which they really banked a lot of money on and a lot of effort to attempt to get working.
I don't know why.
Tanked. It was abominable. It was not good. Raid, which is effectively a World War II version of Payday, which also had who was it? Frick, I can't remember the name right off the top of my head. From Monty Python. Can someone remind me? Here, I'll look it up. Don't worry.
Dead air.
It's not Dead Air, you son of a bitch. John Cleese.
Yeah, Holy Grail.
John Cleese had played actual agent, but my point is it's celebrity appearance or whatnot, not for the actual one of the characters. There's for the game, and again, it's just a World War II themed Payday. It also did not do very well.
Yeah.
Effectively, this left
not as badly as the previous not doing well with Walking Dead, which got its license pulled.
Yeah, the Walking Dead game was just pretty much a complete disaster. This one is just mediocre. But here's the thing: it left Overkill and the devs by far without any money, really.
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, they made a mission statement of we're out of money. So what we're going to have to do now, because we're pretty much out of money, is we're going back and working on Payday 2 again. Even though the game is done, for the most part, we're going to put out more paid DLC for it because there is literally no other way we can make money now.
Mm-hmm.
Which I find interesting, that you go back to support an old game because you've effectively made no money with your newer ones. And I've seen this done with Running with Scissors, actually, if you know anything about their escapades. The developers of the Postal game series.
Oh, no.
All right.
Postal 1, a bit of a twin-stick shooter with fairly brutal and controversial elements. Postal 2, a kind of open-world sandbox game with a lot of controversial bits.
That's
Postal
the game where
3,
you can pee on somebody, right?
and have a cat as a silencer, yes.
Yeah.
Postal 3, a complete, hot, outsourced garbage dump that nobody liked. It went so badly for them, they went back and worked on Postal 2 again, and they released another expansion for Postal 2. But this is another example of a dev made a new game. It didn't work very well, so they went back to their old game and continued working on it so that they can sort of get some money and re-establish themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't that also happened with what's it called? The Battle Royale game that's like, fuck, what is it called? I can't remember.
Describe it.
Yeah, PUBG.
No. They released a new version of their game, and they made it like
the
PUBG.
Calling?
Yes, the Calling.
The Calling.
Calling 2 came out, and it wasn't like the Calling. It was trying to be like PUBG, and people hated it, and so they got rid of it and went back to working on the Calling.
Oh man, that didn't work for that one either, though.
Yeah.
The Culling was Battle Royale. It was the forerunner that completely squandered its head start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It had so much potential to be good, and then it just kind of threw it away.
That's kind of really sucked.
It could have been where PUBG is now. That's how bizarre it is to think about. But again, it's completely squandered. So the other thing to consider now, going back to that, is just that whole, again, we're going back to the old one. They're actually, coincidentally, Running with Scissors has Postal 4 released out in early access with almost no fanfare. It just happened. Kind of strange, but yeah, it is interesting that, going back to the old games and going back to the other topic too, Killing Floor 2, which was a game that went out in early access, went for a period, got lots of free updates for the most part. Then it got controversial because it released that loot box update, and it was effectively pulling. Oddly enough, Payday 2 did a similar thing, and they got completely lambasted for it.
Oh, yeah.
Killing Floor 2 did it. They still got somewhat lambasted, but nowhere near Payday 2 outrage level.
Payday 2 is just a more popular game.
Well,
Yeah.
Payday 2 also got a lot of hate because when they were making the game, they were very explicitly saying that they weren't going to do any microtransactions, none of that stuff. They were gonna do a couple DLC, but no like small microtransactions. And then when they released that with where you can buy the safe, you can buy the drill, and you have to. People were like, "What the frig is all of this?"
Also, the thing that pissed people off too was the whole thing leading up to this was also just a disaster. They had a whole participation events. A lot of them involved having to follow people on social media, which people just didn't like doing, and a lot of the to do content and stuff. One of them, if I recall, it was just we fixed animations. Fixing animations is not a prize. That's something you're supposed to be doing. I think it was the redone jump animation. Coincidentally, though, they did do one thing that technically put them ahead in the microtransaction thing. I don't know if it was a last-minute fix or whether or not they just already had this planned, was that the drills, which are effectively the keys in the game, could be dropped at the end of a heist, which is bizarre to think about because they don't drop in any of the other things where microtransactions are done. Those don't drop in TF2. Those don't drop in CSGO. Those don't drop.
They did drop in Dota for a bit.
Did they?
Yeah.
But
Dota got rid of that whole system.
But I was going to say, but I didn't say Dota. I said TF2 and CSGO.
Oh, yeah, those two, no. I was just saying.
I wasn't going to say Dota. I was going to say Killing Floor didn't do that, if I recall. They have, weird boxes and encryption things, but they didn't have that. But yeah, just the whole concept of, they actually did do that, which is bizarre because I actually did get one of those keys to drop. Then again, I made out, I'm going to be honest here, Payday 2 was my actual real heist out of that game. Because I was the weirdo who bought that weird $20 DLC they had for the ultimate completely overkill pack. That came with an exclusive safe. In that safe was a gun that, here's a thing I didn't even know. It was in pristine condition and had stat on it, which apparently is really good. It didn't even look that great. It was kind of a pinkish color. But here's the thing that really makes it ridiculous. I sold that gun for over $100 actual dollars.
What?
I mean, that could happen. So in Dota 2, I used to be really big in trading and stuff in Dota 2. There was a chest the very first chest that came out with the tournament, where you buy the tournament pack pass, and it gave you a chest, and in it was a war dog. That war dog now is worth easily $200, if not thousands of dollars, because you cannot get it again. It's a very exclusive thing that only was in that chest if you bought it.
I remember if I had from the original Invitational, I had leftover stuff, and I sold that for $20-something, and I bought the Stanley Parable with it. I remember specifically that I got the Stanley Parable with the from Invitational 1 stuff, which the funniest part was it had a bunch of skins and stuff that were already pretty much just, you could buy them for pennies on the dollar. So I did buy them just for the shit of it. But the reason why is because the box itself is rare.
Yeah. This collector, you just want the actual box not opened.
Yeah.
I made a dumb mistake back in the day and got rid of a lot of my old TF2 like original like single-digit series crates because I needed room and I didn't have enough money to buy an inventory thing. And this was back when they were worth nothing. Now they're worth considerable amounts, and I regret not keeping at least one of them. But you live and you learn. I already made $100 off of that dumb payday gun skin. I don't give a shit.
I think it's funny because there is a skin in well, not skin, but like in Dota, when you buy something, you get different pieces for a set, so you mix and match them. There's one for Ursa that gives him a cowboy hat and this really weird stuff, and like then Val was like, yeah, we agree, this doesn't really fit the lore of the character, so we're just going to take it out. But if you have it, you get to keep it. Each piece of that set is worth $400.
What?
That is some absurdity.
Because it's something that you you cannot buy it, but if you have it, you can keep it, and it's tradable.
But that is genuinely just absurd. But I'm going to go back to the topic, though. And it's just the whole concept of just, again, it's devs that have effectively just said, like everyone has bought your game, but now how are you making any more money off of it? Like, you can only really make it if more people buy your game or other content. So, again, the devs at Tripwire, who made Killing Floor 2, effectively are, they like what they do right now, but they're not really going to be making a lot more money if people, you kind of hit that kind of plateau of buyers for your game here, and you're only really going to incrementally get more sales. So they pretty much had to just go with, well, we need to make money, so here's some DLC, here's some guns that are effectively side grades to your existing one. We're still releasing new guns and maps for free, but there's some extra guns and other stuff on the side that you can buy for money. I don't know.
Would you be okay if they did, like, how do you feel about loot boxes?
I mean, they still did do loot boxes. Personally, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of loot boxes because it's just gambling, and it has gambling mechanics like that have predatory nature against people. Like, anyone with a gambling addiction will pretty much succumb to stuff like that. And this will bring people, and this is the big problem with loot boxes, they bring people and introduce them to gambling mechanics. That might bring it to a lot of people that really shouldn't be doing it. And a lot of it is effectively bring gambling to children, which is not a good idea. Introducing and ingraining gambling mechanics to children is an awful idea for a lot of reasons, and would definitely encourage unhealthy behavior. Not to say that going around in a video game shooting people's heads off is a thing, but let me put it this way. Shooting people's heads off doesn't have you follow actual lawsuits and criminal charges. Your gambling will make you lose, a lot of times, actual physical money.
I agree. I'm okay with it in Overwatch because you get so many just by leveling and playing. Other game where it takes forever to get them, or the only real way to get them is to pay for them.
Like I say, Overwatch is somewhat more fair with it because you get them at a consistent rate. The upgrades themselves, not the upgrades, but the actual drops themselves are purely cosmetic. There is no tactical advantage for it. And again, buying it is completely and utterly optional. You don't need to spend real money. You could if you really want to expedite whatever the fuck skin you want. But aside from that, you don't really need to spend more money on the game. It's just I'm okay with sort of purely cosmetic. You can unlock the big thing about it too is you have a lot of the other games, especially the Valve ones, you need to buy a key for them.
Yeah,
the Blizzard one at the very least doesn't make you get a key and spend real money to open them. That's where it kind of gets really wrong with it. Like, yeah, sure, if you get it through in-game, I mean, that's not really gonna hurt, but it's still not necessarily the better practice. You're still kind of, but again, it's a really weird gray area where you could argue that any game with RNG mechanics is technically gambling, but at least for loot. But that's here and there. Explicitly loot boxes though that you have to pay money for, that's gambling. Tough.
Yeah,
that is just gambling.
It's not what you want.
I just feel like if games have it, they should be rated for having it.
Coincidentally, speaking of loot boxes, CSGO and the subsequent sale of keys through the Steam Marketplace have been pretty much gone. You can no longer buy keys for CSGO crates through the Marketplace.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's strange. But again, and there's actually a reason behind that, which is just because Valve doesn't want it to be used effectively as a form of money laundering.
Yep.
Because people were effectively, like, most of those key sales were not from legitimate reasons or sources. Those are mostly used for people who are effectively trading it to launder money. I mean, I don't know if it'll necessarily go on to G2A's level of trades, but G2A is a different beast when it comes down to that. Yeah.
Man.
But it's still that kind of weird gray, and a lot of times actually black market effectively. For the most average user, for someone who plays CSGO and likes to open the boxes every now and then to see if they get a cool skin or maybe even a knife, it's not really going to affect them because you can still buy the keys directly from Valve to open your boxes.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing really wrong with that, and that doesn't change anything. The cases themselves are technically the predetermined loot anyway. The key to open them has nothing to do with that. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But it's the people that exclusively trade things in keys, and that kind of weird interior market is where everything's going to go kind of weird. But
just room for like just being taken advantage of.
Well, yeah. Well, it's more like, again, that whole money laundering thing is kind of where it goes at. Because
Mm-hmm.
G2A, people launder money from G2A by simply you use your stolen credit cards to buy a game, you sell it to them at a significant discount to the hapless buyer, and then when the person who reports their stolen credit card returns it, the person who laundered the money gets a legitimate buyer's money, and the legitimate buyer gets an illegitimate game that can get revoked because the credit card does a chargeback or cancels the.
Oh.
So your key can be invalidated. And that's why G2A offers G2A Shield for those moments when you do get those cards canceled, and you just have to pay a subscription fee so that you don't get illegitimate keys. The fact that you have illegitimate key insurance. Oh, by the way, here's the fun part. To cancel G2A Shield and like get it in the they had deceptive practices of making it almost impossible to actually like not apply to. Because at one point it wasn't even a checkbox. It was just this weird shield icon in the middle of the screen.
Man.
So that there's a lot of hapless people out there who are being charged a monthly subscription fee of a couple bucks a month just because they thought they could buy a game on the cheap.
Yeah.
G2A is very predatory in nature. My only thought about it is, and here's the thing, and this is word of mouth from actual game developers, if you really can't afford to pay the game devs would actually prefer if you pirated it.
Man.
A lot of game devs would rather, because here's the thing, stolen revoked keys look really bad on the dev. You just pirating the game and saying to your friends, oh, this is a great game even though I didn't pay for it, that's still technically a net positive. Because while the dev doesn't get money, he doesn't lose money.
Yeah.
Like directly lose money from the sale because of that.
Man.
Like that's why I don't advocate like those weird key resellers. Get your keys from a relatively reputable site. There's more than enough. If you don't know any of them or you don't trust any of them for some bizarre reason, just buy it from the main site itself. You're way better off.
Fanatical. There's all sorts of.
Yeah, Fanatical's decent. Green Man's all right. Like there's a lot of places where you can get some decent keys without having to
go through that.
I will say stay away from Fanatical's mystery bundles. I tried one of them and they're
don't ever get any of the loot box type bundles. Never do that.
They just give you the keys that no one wants.
That's what I was saying. It's just reject. It's just you're just getting the reject pile.
But all right, guys, it's getting kind of late. I think it's time to wrap it up.
I will give one last bit of advice though. If you do want to look for a game deal, there's plenty of websites. Here's one that I can recommend. IsThereAnyDeal.com usually shows you an aggregate list of all the sites that have the game on, possibly on sale. And you can see if any of those sites have that game that you want on sale. And they typically exclude a lot of the shady sites for that. So you might be able to find it on something like, GOG, Green Man, The Humble Store, Nuvem, Newegg, Microsoft Store, something like that. And you typically can find like a fair price. And they'll even give you a historic low. So if it's on sale, and you think it could go on sale for even more off and you're willing to wait for it, you can see if it had. Like, oh, this went on sale for $5 instead of $7.50. I can wait until it goes on sale for $5 again. Something like that.
Okay, dope. That's a good resource.
Yeah, highly recommended.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for our podcast. Hey, Miles, where can they find you?
You can find me YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at McDareth. Right now, I'm doing a lot of Smash, Dragalia, Pokemon Sword and Shield. When that comes out in a couple weeks, I'll be on it. And there's a lot of games. I have a very big backlog. So
you have any videos in the pipeline?
Yeah, I think Sakurai kind of showed this off in his thing, but I really want to talk about more in detail the impact that like the franchise of King of Fighters and Fatal Furies had on Smash. Because like people don't know things like spot dodging and rolls came from those games. Even short hopping is from those games. So I think like talking about that as why the importance of him being included. Why it's more than just, this is just this old character who's just in here because he's old. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like an interesting video. Jeff, where can people follow you?
You can find me not streaming at Twitch EV as BG Fluba. You can find me not tweeting on Twitter at Flubinator. And you can probably find me on Steam, possibly playing a game, just ID Fluba. FLOOBA.
Awesome. What about you, Mike?
Google me what name.
All right. And for me,
legitimately, that's how you find me. It's all of that's me. It's every single one of them.
Yeah. All right. For me, it's being the Victor, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. And that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. We are at the end of the show. Bye.
Don't need a light bulb.
Okay, I guess that's how we're ending. All right.
Yeah. I don't know.